Rocket Carrier Trailer Delivery to the Loading Site in Urska River, Part 2. Hello there everybody and welcome to Openfed Gaming and another exciting episode of SnowRunner. We are finishing our contract of the Carrier Rocket Carrier. I don't know why they say carrier twice, but it's a delivery of the Rocket Carrier semi-trailer to the loading site in Urska River. We've just got to Urska River and now we got to try and finish this journey of pulling this huge trailer. And it's not going to be an easy job. We've had a tough go of it so far in the first part where we were pulling it through Northern Aegis installation. It was very, very difficult. Now the Zigzee, what we're driving in, the Zigzee 605R, is a very capable truck. Lots of power and very good in the snow. But I'm having a heck of a time. Now, I can only think of one other truck that would be better and has more power in the snow, and that would be the Kenworth 963. But he's got such a long frame, I wanted to use a vehicle with a shorter frame, or a truck with a shorter frame, because the trailer I'm pulling is so long, and you get high centered quite a bit. So you have to be a little careful and go a little bit slower. This is not your racing game. You can't go fast. If the faster you go, the more mistakes you're going to make. Now, the first problem here was trying to get around this here telephone pole, or whatever you want to call that, light pole, and miss those big boulders at the same time. And we did okay. And that's not too bad. We're going to just gradually inch our way down the hill. And at the bottom we got a little bit of a water trap with some logs in it that we're going to have to try and get by. But as you can see, the trailer is very long and it gets high centered quite often, which makes for a really difficult journey. But we're going to do the best we can. We've got our Tuz out, our awesome little Scout, fantastic rescue vehicle, and a great mobile gas station. He's waiting for us halfway along the path, and if we do have any trouble, he can always come out and help us out and pull us out of any jam that we're in that we can't get out of. But for the most part, your winch, which you're going to be needing a lot, you're going to be pulling off of your truck and you're going to be pulling off of your trailer, trying to pull the whole rig forward. Your winch is going to be your best friend in this particular journey. So just remember that. If you're not good at using your winch yet, practice up because you're going to need it. You know, it doesn't take long. You know, you can either throw it out on automatic where it grabs the very nearest winchable point, like a pole or a tree or whatever, which is great on the run. But if you want to select it, you can do that. But in the bush like this, there's a lot of selection points. So anyhow, stick with me and you'll see what I mean. Now, as we're coming down through this little deserted village, or I don't know what you want to call it, and we get down to the end here, you can see some bouldery, rocky area. Now, just beyond that is the ice surface, and we got to try and get to the ice, but we can't get through here, so we're going to have to pull around to the right. And the snow is pretty deep, and like I said, we're going to end up having to winch ourselves through some of these areas. So, you know, you just got to kind of bear with it if you're playing this game. It's very enjoyable though. You know, you do eventually get through if you're a little strategic about it. Now, back in the old days when I first started playing this game, I would just take a truck and go out and try and do the job. But I've changed my methods. Now we're stuck again. Well, we're gonna go back and forth here a little bit. As you can see, the trailer's high centered. But we're gonna have to try and get out of it ourselves if we're gonna get into trouble already now. We're gonna keep working it. Now, like I said, back in the early days, I would just take a truck out and I would go out and start pulling and delivering or whatever. Now, in Amur, it's a little bit more difficult and dangerous and tougher jobs. So I use my Tuz, I go out and I do a little bit of recon and I check out what the roads are like and see which way I could, or might want to go. And it doesn't always work out, but I do my best. And then when I finally decide which way I want to go, then I just leave the Tuz out in places where I think I might get into trouble. And then that way I got not only a gas station, but I got a vehicle there to help me out with any kind of problems that might occur. Having said that, we're going to try and pull this through a little bit straighter until we can just get past those boulders on the left hand side. Now if the trailer goes off over top of it, that's not really a problem because the tires will hit the rocks and they'll just roll over top. But I don't want to have to take the Zigzag and pull it through and over top of those boulders because that trailer is pretty heavy. So we're going to just try and go a little bit more straight here. And there again, like I said, there's lots of logs laying on the ground. Now you can either just throw your winch out at them, or you can do like this and pick, but you can see how many choices you got. Now you got to flip through it until you get to the one you want. And sometimes that takes a little while and you're already frustrated with going through areas that are tough to get through, and then having to deal with that on top of that makes it even more frustrating. But if you take your time, have a little patience, it can be rewarded, because as you can see, we're getting through most of it. Now we're not quite through yet. We've only got maybe one more winch to do, I believe, and we'll take that furthest one, I believe, right there. Okay, and that'll pull us a little straighter as we are turning a little bit, and then when you get to about right here, you let the winch go and your truck keeps going. Now the best thing when you're doing this kind of a job, because the weight is so much in that trailer, that when you're moving, try not to stop, because if you stop and then you try to get moving again, sometimes you can't. So we're just going to try and climb over these rocks and hope the trailer will follow us. There we go. The biggest, most important thing when you are pulling a trailer like this is try and keep everything level. You know, keep the truck and the trailer level. Because if the trailer goes at an angle from side to side, that trailer will pull your truck over. Just remember that. I learned that the hard way. Anyhow, over here, we're just gonna go and climb over the rocks because I want to stay away from that water as much as possible, because that trailer is just too long. And you can't maneuver that thing through or by anything. You just have to try and take the turns as wide as you can and hope the off-track is gonna follow you the proper way. Now here, we want to go up. That's why I left the Tuz there. I'm not in any need of any fuel. I got 185 liters left, and I think I have 200 on the roof. So I should have enough. Now you can see the tracks that are going straight up. Those are the ones that I'm trying to follow. But of course, once again, you get stuck. So I have to go a little bit straight for a second and then turn. Now as we're coming up, there's going to be a few humps that I'm going over right now that are going to high center your trailer, but that's okay. You can see in the distance, straight ahead, there's one lonely tree at the edge of that pit. Now we want to go just to the left of it. But first we're going to have to try and winch this trailer up the hill, because we're stuck again. So I'm going to get used to that, because this is, I believe, the best way to go. The easiest way to go. So I could just imagine if I would have gone a different way. So once we get over this, if you go to the left of that tree, you should be able to do it. If you go to the right of it, you won't be able to get around the tree. So I'm going to go over here and go to the left of it. And like I said, it's going to tip the trailer and the truck a little bit, but just try and keep it as level as possible until you get to the, well, then we're stuck again. Boy, I tell you, this is going to be a lesson in frustration, this contract, I'll tell you that. Now, we're going to eventually break free. It's going to take a few seconds here, and I can't quite reach that tree yet, so I can't pull on there. See, the tree won't show a hitching point. I'll try it again. Well, pull it over maybe a little bit. When your second best truck, as you can see, it's teetering like a teeter-totter, and I just can't seem to pull it over top of that last little bump. Yeah, well, Buffett, you might just have to put the winch on it one more time. We'll put it on the very back, and then we'll put it to a tree, maybe that pine to the left there. That would be a good one. It'll pull the trailer over a little bit, and it'll have, there we go. Maybe now she should be broke free. Oh, looks like she's starting to move. No, it's still not going. Well, wait a minute. There we go. Finally. Okay. Now we got to try and stay close to that tree and then try and get up on the road up above. And it's going to be tough, but like I said, if the trailer is too far angled and tips over, it will take your truck. Oh, no, with it. So anyhow, I had the Tuz come over and I spared you the hard work, the crying and the yelling and the screaming and the amount of time that it took me to get this far. I had to take the Tuz and pull the Zigsy back up on its wheels. Then I had to try and take that trailer and set it back up on its wheels, and that's a hard job. I've already had to do that once in part 1, and I hope that this is the last time. Now the trailer's sitting a little bit of an angle, so we're going to pull the back end over just a bit so we can get by that tree that we're right by, where the truck is by. So there we go. Now I should be able to pull that through. As we're coming along here, boy, I tell you, when you see that trailer flip and it pulls your truck with you, you're so helpless, there's nothing you can do. There's a Tuz, my beautiful rescue vehicle. He fixed up any repairs that I had to have done, and he fueled me up. Thanks a lot, bud. We'll see you again when we have another problem. We'll give you a call. Yeah, we're coming along here. We're still in the deep snow, and we still got to make a little bit of a wide berth through this corner here, because this road straight up ahead of us, we got to turn to the right. We got to go up the road. And that's going to be another little challenge that we're going to have. But before we get to that, let's just get stuck one more time. Oh boy, I tell you, this has been a lesson in frustration today, trying to deliver this trailer. But boy, oh boy, how good it feels when you finally get it there in one piece. But you know what that means, right? I mean, we're delivering a rocket carrier semi-trailer. You can just guess what the next job is going to be. And if you say delivering a rocket, then you'd be right. But that's a little ways off yet. We still got to get this trailer to the hangar first, to the loading site. So now as we're coming up this little hill that I'd like to call a ski hill, yeah, we're just getting past that telephone pole. Now as we're going up this little hill, like I mentioned before, try and keep the trailer and the truck as flat as possible from side to side, but you also have to watch out for the bumps and dips so that you don't high center the trailer. So what I figured I'd do is, after looking at it, I'm going, oh, okay, the optimal path, I would have to believe, would be on the left-hand side on that ridge, that high ridge, because it seems the flattest possible. Maybe on the right-hand side, but I think I'm going to try the left. I think I'm going to try the left over here and see if I can just climb up there. And if I don't hit any big bumps, I shouldn't get my trailer high-centered again over here. Now, one thing, I don't know if you remember or if you are a returning visitor, I did mention several times that when you're in a moor, either in Urska River or Northern Asian Installation, the other ones, any road that doesn't have snow on it, consider it a nice road. Now normally I wouldn't have any problems on this little bit. It's not a steep incline, but with the weight of the trailer, there again, it's awfully hard to try and pull it up this road. And I didn't think I was going to have any trouble until I got about right here and the truck started sliding backwards. Now we don't have no chains for the tires for the Zigsy, so get over to the side of the road so you can drive in a little bit of the snow and that way get a little bit of traction. Absolutely awesome. What a fantastic game. You know, when things work, it's awesome. When they don't work, well, it's not so much fun. But, you know, if you're prepared and you have your rescue vehicles out and your mobile gas stations, you know, and there's ways to get around it. So just remember that. It's sometimes with these more difficult contracts, maybe be a little bit more prepared, you know. I mean, like I said, I never used to be, but by doing it this way, now you're ready and you're up and running again real quick. Had I not had a rescue vehicle there, I would have had to recover my Ziggy to the garage, and then I would have had to start all over with it. The trailer would still be laying there upside down. I'd still have to find a way to flip it back up. So this worked out really well, and I think I'm going to use this strategy for doing really difficult contracts or tasks, you know, in that manner. Set out extra vehicles to help me out in case I have a problem. But we got this far and we're doing okay now, and we're climbing up and we're almost at the loading site. Not quite there yet, we still got a little ways to go, but we shouldn't have any more trouble, and it's starting to snow. Okay? It's a good thing that it waited until now. You know, we didn't need that snow earlier on. So as we're coming along and we're not ripping, we're just slowly inching our way up the road. Come around this corner, it should just be a short little jaunt and we should be there. This was an absolutely fantastic task. Like I said, sometimes the harder the job, the better it feels when you get it done, when you get it accomplished. Your sense of accomplishment is beyond everything else. It's just absolute, yeah, and that reflects the fun that we're having. So if we're having a lot of fun, that's great, because that's what we're playing for. Here is the loading site. We're almost there. And once we deliver this trailer, then it'll be ready for them to pack the rocket on top of it, and we'll see about that job next. So I really enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoyed watching it, and hopefully you got a few tips and tricks out of the video for yourself, and maybe you'll be playing this. If you're not playing it, maybe you'll be playing it soon, because this is how I started playing, by watching these videos. I really enjoyed them. Anyhow, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you back at OpenFed Gaming again real soon, when we are going to try and deliver that rocket. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Until then, you've been driving in the snow in a Ziggy with the OpenFed.